Let me tell you something, because this is real life, and everybody watching has felt this at some point. When a person carries a ton of hatred for you, it rarely shows up loud. It don't come with shouting or fists. It comes quiet. It comes slick. It comes wrapped in smiles, jokes, and I'm just being real. That's how you miss it. Hatred is patient. Hatred studies you. Hatred waits for moments when you're vulnerable, excited, proud, then finds a way to cut the air right out of that moment. When a person consistently disrespects you and then hides it behind jokes, sarcasm, I'm just being honest, that is one of the clearest signs of deep hatred. This kind of behavior is not accidental. It is intentional, calculated, and repeated. They say something sharp, something unnecessary, something that stings, then immediately cover it with laughter. So if you react, you look sensitive. That's the trap. They want to hurt you without being held accountable for it. Real respect doesn't need a punchline, and real honesty doesn't need to embarrass you to make a point. People who do this study you closely. They learn what makes you proud, what you're insecure about, what you worked hard to overcome. Then they aim right there, not directly, but sideways. A comment about your past when you're trying to move forward. A joke about your confidence when you're finally standing tall. A remark about your choices when you're finally at peace with them. They pretend it's small, but the damage is slow and steady, like water dripping on stone. Over time, it wears you down. The reason this kind of disrespect is so dangerous is because it confuses you. You start questioning yourself instead of questioning them. You wonder if you're overreacting, if you misunderstood, if you're being too emotional. Meanwhile, they walk away feeling satisfied because they got the reaction they wanted or planted the doubt they intended. That's not love. That's not friendship. That's resentment looking for a safe disguise. What's really happening is that your presence triggers something unresolved in them. You might remind them of a dream they gave up on, a risk they were too afraid to take, or a version of themselves they failed to become. Instead of dealing with that pain internally, they project it onto you. So they poke at you, belittle you, and disguise it as humor because hatred doesn't always scream. Sometimes it smirks. Pay attention to patterns, not apologies. Anyone can say, I didn't mean it like that, but if it keeps happening, they meant it exactly that way. Respectful people adjust when they see they've hurt you. Hateful people repeat the behavior and blame your reaction. They want access to you, but not your strength. They want to stay close enough to feel relevant while quietly undermining your confidence. The truth is, someone who truly supports you doesn't need to cut you down to feel comfortable. They don't need to joke at your expense to feel powerful. If being around you brings out constant criticism masked as humor, that's not closeness. That's competition mixed with resentment. And once you see it clearly, you stop laughing along. You stop explaining. You stop shrinking yourself to keep the peace. Disrespect disguised as jokes is not harmless. It's a reflection of what's sitting in their heart toward you. And when you recognize it, you gain the power to protect your peace, your confidence, and your growth without saying a word. When a person feels uncomfortable with your success or happiness, it's one of the most subtle and dangerous forms of hatred. They don't always show it openly. They smile when you share your achievements. But there's a tension behind that smile, a hidden resentment that you can feel if you pay attention. They celebrate in words but not in spirit. Their happiness is conditional. They can be happy when life is ordinary, but the moment you rise above the level they expected, the moment you shine brighter than they imagined, their support disappears. It's not about you, it's about them, about what they can't stand to see reflected in someone else's growth. This discomfort often manifests in quiet ways. They might make backhanded compliments like saying, wow, you actually pulled that off, or I didn't expect you to handle that. On the surface, it looks like praise, but underneath, it's criticism disguised as astonishment. They want to remind you of their doubts, so you remember that even your success is fragile in their eyes. They may downplay your wins, compare you to others, or bring up past failures at moments when you're proud. It's a subtle way to make you question whether your accomplishments truly matter. They're not rooting against you because they are cruel. They're rooting against you because your success highlights their own insecurities and unmet expectations. Sometimes their discomfort turns into silent resistance. They might stop offering encouragement, withdraw from conversations about your goals, or avoid celebrating milestones with you. Even when you accomplish something big, you may notice a lack of excitement, a delay in recognition, or a shift in attitude. This is not accidental. They are showing you that your growth threatens their sense of control, their sense of superiority, the narrative they've built about their life. In their mind, if you rise too high, it challenges the story they tell themselves about who they are and what they can achieve. You might also notice that they start to compare themselves constantly, subtly or overtly. Every achievement of yours becomes a benchmark for them. Every compliment you receive is a reminder that they are falling behind, not measuring up, or not enough. That comparison breeds bitterness. Bitterness often disguises itself as advice, teasing, or casual remarks. What seems like friendly interaction can actually be a reflection of their internal struggle with envy. Key is to recognize that their behavior is about them, not you. Your success does not create their failure. Your happiness does not diminish their worth. And yet, people who harbor this quiet hatred cannot see it that way. They project their insecurities, doubts, and unhealed wounds onto you. They hope that by subtly undermining your confidence, they can reduce the threat your happiness poses to their fragile ego. It is not your job to fix them, nor is it your responsibility to justify your success. Recognizing this pattern allows you to protect your energy, continue thriving, and maintain relationships only with those who genuinely celebrate your victories instead of resenting them. When a person constantly compares you to others and competes silently with you, that is a clear sign they carry a lot of hatred. This type of behavior is sneaky because it doesn't always appear aggressive. Instead, it's quiet, subtle, and persistent. They're always measuring your achievements, your relationships, your choices, and even your happiness against their own standards or against people they admire. Every step you take forward becomes a mirror reflecting what they feel they lack. And because they are unwilling to face their own insecurities, they try to project that struggle onto you. They turn your life into a scoreboard and expect you to play a game you never agreed to. This silent competition is exhausting for you, even if you don't realize it at first. You notice comments that seem harmless but carry judgment, like, "Oh, she got that promotion. I guess it was her turn," or "Hey, finally did that thing. Wonder how long he'll keep it up." Even subtle remarks like this are meant to diminish your joy and remind you that you are under constant evaluation. They want you to feel like nothing you do is ever enough, because in their mind, your success challenges their sense of control and superiority. They feel threatened by your growth, and so they monitor you, weigh you, and compare you to a standard that is not yours. Another way this manifests is through quiet undermining. They may ask questions or make suggestions that appear supportive. Their real intention is to make you doubt yourself. "Are you sure that's the right move?" Or, "I don't know if you're ready for that," are phrases that sound like concern. They are really planting seeds of hesitation. They want you second guessing, because if you falter, it validates their sense of superiority. The more you doubt yourself, the more they feel powerful. even if that power is invisible to anyone else. This behavior is toxic because it chips away at your confidence without anyone noticing the real reason. The silent competition also shows in how they respond to your achievements socially. They may congratulate you in a lukewarm way, immediately compare your accomplishment to someone else's. They are never fully happy for you because true happiness for someone else requires humility and generosity, qualities they are struggling to embrace. Instead, they focus on comparison, which keeps them trapped in envy and resentment. They watch your success like a spectator, analyzing it, judging it, and preparing to measure it against themselves or others. Recognizing this behavior is crucial because it allows you to stop internalizing their competition. Their need to compete is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their insecurity and unhealed emotions. Understanding that gives you freedom. You don't have to prove anything to them, and you don't have to engage in their comparison game. You can continue to rise, succeed, and live fully, knowing that their quiet hatred exists in their heart, not in your reality. The sooner you accept that, sooner you can protect your peace, keep your confidence intact, and stop letting someone else's insecurities dictate how you feel about your own life. When a person with hatred for you refuses to support you when you need it most, it's a silent but powerful sign of their true feelings. Real support isn't always loud or public, but it is consistent. When life gets heavy, when challenges pile up, and when you reach out for guidance, encouragement, or even just a listening ear, people who truly care show up. They may not have all the answers, but they make your struggle lighter, even if just by being present. Those who harbor hatred, however, do the opposite. They vanish at the first sign of need, disappear when you're vulnerable, and make excuses to avoid involvement in your life's challenges. Their absence is deliberate, and it's meant to remind you that they are not invested in your growth or your happiness. This withholding often starts small. They might miss one call, ignore one message, or offer vague, half-hearted advice. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. When you face obstacles, they're never around in a meaningful way. They may claim to be busy, tired, or distracted, but deep down, their energy is focused elsewhere. Their priorities lie in maintaining their comfort, not in helping you overcome difficulties. Every time you struggle, you see a choice. People who genuinely care lean in, people who resent you lean back. Hatred doesn't need loud arguments. It shows in absence and neglect, and it leaves you questioning yourself. What makes this behavior particularly hurtful is that it's personal. Life is full of challenges for everyone, but when someone who knows your strengths and weaknesses decides not to help, it's a reflection of their feelings toward you, not your situation. They enjoy seeing you carry burdens alone, not because they are indifferent to life's hardships, because your struggle serves as a way to keep you in check. If you succeed despite their absence, it undermines their sense of control and reminds them that you can rise without their permission. That quiet resentment fuels a cycle of non-support, disguised as neutrality or, "I'm just letting you handle it." Sometimes they even make your struggle about them. They might say things like, "I tried to help, but you didn't listen," or, "I can't get involved because it's too much for me." These statements are manipulative. They shift the focus from your need to their comfort. Hatred turns every opportunity to support you into an inconvenience, a reminder that your victories should never outshine their life, and your challenges should never be solved in ways that highlight your independence. Recognizing this pattern is essential because it allows you to stop expecting support where it will never come. You learn to differentiate between genuine allies and people who quietly resent you. Once you understand that, you stop wasting energy trying to prove loyalty to someone who is unwilling to meet you halfway. True growth comes from identifying who is in your corner and who is in your way, and focusing your energy on people who genuinely want to see you succeed. Learning to navigate relationships with this awareness protects your peace, strengthens your confidence, and allows you to thrive regardless of who chooses to stand by you or step away. Expend 5 keynotes, 500 words without subheading and conclusion. When a person takes pleasure in your struggles rather than celebrating your growth, it's one of the most painful signs that they carry hatred for you. This behavior is subtle at first, almost unnoticeable, because it hides behind casual remarks, laughter, friendly advice. They listen to your problems not to help, but to observe, to collect information, and to feel a sense of superiority over your situation. Your mistakes, setbacks, or hardships become fuel for their ego. Every time you stumble, they feel justified in their resentment, and they silently enjoy the discomfort that life has placed you in. They are not openly cruel. Their satisfaction is clear if you pay attention. They derive a strange sense of control from watching you struggle. This behavior often shows up in social settings where your challenges are subtly highlighted. They may tell mutual friends about your failures with amusement or make comments that draw attention to what went wrong in your life. They will celebrate when things go wrong for you, sometimes under the guise of joking, and minimize your successes in ways that make your growth seem unremarkable. They rarely, if ever, express genuine joy when good things happen to you. Their eyes may smile, but their heart doesn't. This is not accidental. People who harbor this kind of resentment feel threatened by your ability to rise above adversity, so they try to cling to the comfort of seeing you falter. You might notice that when you share positive news, they respond with lukewarm enthusiasm or even subtle criticism. They may say, "That's great, I thought you were doing something else," or "I guess it worked out, it could have been better." These comments are designed to dampen your excitement and make your achievements feel less significant. While supportive people focus on celebrating your progress, people who secretly hate you focus on finding reasons to diminish it. They want your moments of triumph to feel incomplete because your success makes them uncomfortable with their own unresolved failures. This enjoyment of your struggles also leads them to withhold encouragement. When you face challenges, they rarely offer guidance, support, or motivation. They may pretend to care, but their words are hollow and their actions minimal. This is because watching you struggle without intervening makes them feel powerful. They are emotionally invested in your discomfort because it satisfies their sense of control and superiority. The more independent you become, the more threatened they feel, and the more subtle and calculated their actions become in trying to undermine your confidence. Understanding this behavior is crucial because it allows you to recognize who genuinely supports you and who secretly resents your growth. You don't have to confront them or seek validation from them. Their enjoyment of your struggles is a reflection of their own pain and insecurities, not your worth. Once you see it clearly, you can stop allowing their silent resentment to influence your self-esteem or decisions. Instead, you focus on your growth, your victories, and your happiness, knowing that their hatred cannot stop you unless you let it. Protecting your energy and celebrating yourself without their approval is the ultimate way to rise above those who secretly take pleasure in your struggles. When a person tries to control you through guilt, confusion, or emotional distance, it is one of the clearest signs that they harbor deep-seated hatred toward you. This behavior is not always obvious at first. It doesn't come with loud arguments or dramatic confrontations. Instead, it's subtle, calculated, and persistent. People who act this way want to manipulate your emotions so that you question yourself, your choices, and even your worth. They don't confront you openly because they know that would make them accountable. Instead, they use silence, ambiguity, and guilt to keep you off balance, to keep you reacting instead of acting, and to make sure that you never feel completely secure around them. They want you to constantly doubt your decisions, second guess your intentions, and bend to their expectations, because when you are uncertain, you are easier to control. One of the ways this shows up is through emotional distance. They might be warm and present one moment, then cold and unresponsive the next, leaving you confused and desperate for approval. You find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to guess what they are thinking or feeling, because the slightest misstep triggers criticism, withdrawal, or passive-aggressive behavior. This is intentional. People who hate you know that uncertainty wears down your confidence. They want to be the center of your emotional attention, not as a source of support, but as a source of tension. They thrive on the power they gain from your insecurity and the feeling that you need them to feel right or validated. Guilt is another